Hello, happy Monday. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, it was a historic day for the territory, one that signals hope for veterans across the Virgin Islands. The U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs set foot in the territory for the first time and not only honored VI war heroes, but also made a promise that the federal government will continue trying to solve issues plaguing veterans across the nation. News 2's April Knight has that story.
For the first time since he took office, U.S. Veterans Affairs Secretary Robert McDonald came to the Virgin Islands. He personally gave out awards to members of the 65th Army Regiment, also called the Burinkeneers.
The work that infantry division did in Korea, in particular, when there was a gap in the line and the Chinese were advancing, and Douglas MacArthur said, "There's only one group that I know can stop the Chinese from advancing," and that was the Burinkeneers.
One of the stars of the ceremony was this stalwart veteran, John Tranberg.
Oldest registered veteran within the shores of the United States Virgin Islands.
Born in 1916, John Tranberg witnessed milestones in Virgin Islands history and of course served his country by going into military service. Other Burinkeneers who were also honored that day were Carl Thomas, Jerome Ferdinand, Aubrey Nelthrop, Leroy Woodrup, and Jerome Jackson. Secretary McDonald each handed them Congressional Medals of Freedom.
A group that was, frankly, faced a situation of segregation in their own country, yet fought for the freedom of the country that didn't yet recognize the equality that they should have been treated with.
The Secretary of Veterans Affairs visit is significant, and there is some expectation that some federal attention will be drawn to Virgin Islands veterans who often don't get access to the same services, including health care, as their mainland counterparts.
We talked about options to improve that care, to improve the speed of our disability claim resolutions, and to make sure that we continue working hard to eliminate veteran homelessness.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, a meeting followed that ceremony for the veterans. Count on two. We will have more on Tuesday. The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office hosted a visit by the U.S. Virgin Islands Bureau of Corrections staff this week after Sheriff Butch Conway entered into a formal agreement on April 5, 2016 with the U.S. Virgin Islands Bureau BOC to offer critical training. BOC's director Rick Mulgrave was a former deputy and resigned there in 2015 after being appointed by Governor Kenneth Mapp to serve as the BOC director in the VI. He enlisted the help of Sheriff Conway to bring the BOC up to American correctional standards and brought several members of his staff for a 4-day educational tour of the Gwinnett County Jail on Saturday. Concluding the visit yesterday, the group reviewed training procedures, among other things. April 23rd at approximately 1:20 p.m., taking a look at crime reports, the 911 emergency call center transmitted that an unresponsive black male was lying on the ground motionless in the vicinity of Ross Tarenberg. Upon arrival at the scene, contact was made, police say, with an African-American male individual who was pronounced dead on arrival by the EMTs. He was later identified by his next of kin as 53-year-old Milton Garden of St. Thomas. The medical examiner team then transported the deceased to the morgue, and the case is still pending autopsy results. Stephen Williams, 47, made his initial appearance before U.S. Magistrate Judge Ruth Miller after being arrested for threatening a federal employee. Williams was arrested on April 25, 2016 by special agents from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of the Inspector General, and officers from the Virgin Islands Police Department. Judge Miller ordered the defendant placed in detention pending a hearing on April 26. If convicted, the defendant faces a maximum penalty of 1 year in prison and $100,000 fine. According to documents filed with the court on February 12, 2016, Williams threatened to shoot employees of the Veterans Affairs community-based outpatient clinic on St. Croix. Well, in other news, just a reminder, Carnival Magic will be calling on St. Thomas for the first time on Tuesday, April 26th. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and will be berthing at the Waiko Dock. Now, Joseph Bishelty, president and CEO of the West Indian Company, welcomes the visit during the best time, he says, Carnival. In service since 2011, Carnival Magic is the third of Carnival Cruise Line's Dream Class ships. It holds over 4,000 passenger maximum capacity and over 1,000 crew members. Last week, Thursday, was historic for St. Croix, according to Casino Control Commission chairperson Violet Ann Golden. She was at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of a new casino of St. Croix, one that's expected to lend a little more vitality to the Crucian economy. This comes 21 years after the Casino Resort Control Act of 1995 was passed and 14 years after the first casino was opened.
After the first casino was opened, tonight we celebrate the second casino opening, major casino opening in the history of that act. The end result of what men and women of goodwill can make happen if all of us work together. I believe that we're going to see more happening. But for the businessmen and women and Christians dead especially, this is just the beginning of what the Casino Control Commission intends to make happen, and we'll use the authority vested in us to make these things happen more often than rarely.
And turning our attention overseas, Republican presidential candidates John Kasich and Ted Cruz announced Sunday they are teaming up in an effort to stop their rival, Donald Trump, from winning the Republican presidential nomination. Donald Trump says they are colluding and desperate. Steve Nannis has this report.
Republican candidates Ohio Governor John Kasich.
Look, I mean, this is a matter of resources.
And Texas Senator Ted Cruz.
After discussions with the Kasich campaign, we made a decision about allocating resources.
Joining forces in an effort to divide and conquer the remaining Republican contests. A late-in-the-game attempt to keep the frontrunner Donald Trump from reaching the 1,237 delegate threshold that would clinch the Republican nomination ahead of the Republican convention in July. Kasich turning his focus to Oregon and New Mexico.
I'm not campaigning in Indiana, and he's not campaigning in these other states.
And Cruz to Indiana.
John Kasich has decided to pull out of Indiana to give us a head-to-head contest with Donald Trump.
Their rationale, Trump cannot beat Hillary Clinton in a general election.
If Donald Trump is the nominee, Hillary Clinton wins.
I think what Donald Trump needs to understand is that he cannot beat Hillary Clinton.
And they're running out of time.
After tomorrow night, there are only 10 more primary contests left. In order to stop Donald Trump to get to 1237, you got to stop him now.
Donald Trump immediately responded to Sunday's announcement on Twitter, saying, quote, Lyon Ted and Kasich are going to collude in order to keep me from getting the Republican nomination. Desperation. And today, he added,
in politics, you're allowed to collude. So they colluded, and actually I was happy because it shows how weak they are.
But all the candidates say it's ultimately up to the voters, and 5 states hold their contest tomorrow. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis.
Meanwhile, his friends and family members held a private memorial service for Prince at his home in Minnesota Saturday. Large crowds of his fans have been gathering outside to pay their respects to the music legend. The publicist says Prince's cremated remains will be kept in private. The official word is that there will be a musical celebration of his life, but the date for that event will be announced later. According to Prince's rep, it will be at least 4 weeks before the results of his autopsy are made public. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. And according to the numbers there, we can see everything's down. The Dow 26, NASDAQ 10, S&P 500 down 3. Coming up on News 2, a full Carnival Corner. The Village opened this year, and of course it's named Showtime HQ to honor Jam Band. We'll have highlights from opening night, as well as a wrap on some of the events that occurred over the weekend. Well, Fort Christian parking lot truly came alive over the weekend as the 2016 Carnival Village was finally opened on Friday. It's called Showtime HQ in honor of the legendary St. Thomas Music Group Jam Band. Government leaders stressed the importance of safety, and Governor Mapp made his own appeal to the community. News 2's April Knight has more.
A little bit of rain couldn't stop the party at the Carnival Village on Friday. It officially opened as Governor Mapp and newly crowned Carnival royalty cut the ribbon that evening. For many, it was a family affair or a chance to reunite with friends. There were games and rides at the Children's Village. Colorful booths lined the edges of Fort Christian parking lot, competing in various categories, but the top honors went to booth number 5.
We've been part of Carnival about, what?
43 years.
43 years.
We're famous actually for goat head soup. Everybody comes from abroad to see, to get it, to eat it, and then our mob eat.
Everybody enjoy Carnival, be safe, have fun, and just enjoy yourself.
But winner or not, all the food stalls got their share of patrons, eager to sample local cuisine. Police officers could be seen all around the village, keeping an eye out for potential trouble.
The police department is committed to providing you with a safe environment for you to enjoy this festival. We will be monitoring Juve very carefully.
Governor Mapp took the opportunity to make a plea for residents to support the Children's Parade on Friday.
Come on out on the day of the Children's Parade and let us show our children support. Let us show them that we appreciate their efforts and what they're doing, and let us enjoy that day with them.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, booth number 5 also won Best Relationship to the Theme. Second runner-up went to booth number 12, while first runner-up went to booth number 18. The village remains open until April 30th, which is Saturday. And here is your village entertainment lineup this evening. It starts with DJ Cypher, then the Awi Band, Digital Band, Cool Sessions Brass, and then look into Tuesday, DJ Pete, Flambeau Combo, VI Sparks, Spectrum Band, Ricardo Drew, Farmer Nappy, Alan Tuji, and Rock City. And then on Wednesday, DJ Nature Boy, Quinito Melendez from the Dominican Republic, Asa Banton, and the band Class, which is from Haiti. Then Thursday, After Dark Sounds, Pure Passion, Poison Band, Pompa and Crew, Crossfire. Friday, DJ Jasid, Star Lion Reunion, D-Lab with Chemits, Zion Kings Band, Nayora, Pressure, Itana. And then the 30th, April 30th, DJ Country, Top Notch Band, Imaginations Brass, Jam Band, Destra, and Bacchanal Band. Great lineup there. And speaking of music, musical revelry filled the Lionel Roberts Stadium area this weekend as Panorama set the jubilant tone. On Sunday, many schools participated in the Steel Band Jamboree. And if you missed the sweet sounds, here's some of what you missed. Now on Saturday, 7 artists attempted to dethrone the reigning monarch, Jalen King Yellowman Fredericks. In the end, Caribbean Queen, aka Tamisha Liburd, belted out a strong tune about unity. She won Best Social Commentary. Best Political Song went to Nikki Smith. Most Humorous, Super T. Most Improved, Nikki Smith. And second runner-up, Brock Lee. First runner-up, Nikki. And then, of course, the winner was Caribbean Queen. Here are some of the performances.
To see you all of that, ain't nothing but the papa lady gets on black. People have fun and go.
And looking down later in the week, we have the Cultural Food Fair, 8 a.m. Emancipation Garden. That's on Wednesday, the 27th. Then later on in the evening, we have the Senior Citizens Tramp, which begins at 8 p.m. from the Market Square. April 28th, of course, is Juve, beginning at 4 a.m. on the waterfront. And then we prepare for the Children's Parade, Friday, April 29th at 10 a.m. And then the Adults Parade, Saturday, April 30th at 10 a.m. Well, Governor Kenneth Mapp has granted administrative leave for government employees to enable their participation in major Virgin Islands Carnival events this week. For employees in the St. Thomas-St. John district, leave is granted on Wednesday, April 27th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., which is the Food, Arts, and Craft Fair Day. And then on Thursday, April 28th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Juve. Administrative leave is granted territory-wide on Friday, April 29th. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the Carnival Children's Parade. Then the governor's authorization of leave for non-essential employees is intended to encourage greater participation in the Virgin Islands Carnival celebration, according to the governor. Many different troops participate in the VI parade, but one many look forward to is the original Mukajumbis. For over 48 years, Derek Parilla and his family, who relocated to the States, as well as troop members from Miami, they come down every year to participate. He has traveled all over the world sharing the tradition. Why does he keep up the tradition? He says it's because we have to do what we have to do to keep our culture alive.
I do travel, Atlanta, Miami, New York, and I've been doing that for a long time. But, St. Thomas, there's nothing like home. What really keeps it going is it all started with my brother Ali Paul. He instilled in me about keeping the culture alive. He keeps the culture alive back in the days with, he does fire eating, he does limbo, he does broken bottle, and taught the Mokojumbi to my kids, and now hopefully to my grandkids. And, it's just keeping that culture alive. We, back in the day, taught a lot of kids, like the St. Croix Mokojumbis and the Tortola Mokojumbi. If you have pictures of it, you should send it on social media. Always keep it out there so people can know, especially our young generation. We have a culture, and this is our culture, and don't lose your culture.
Great job there. Now be sure to tune in Adults Parade Day, and you'll see Parilla. And be sure to tune in for our Carnival special for more on that interview. We'll tell you a little bit about that later on. And also tune in for colorful Carnival coverage of the Adults and Children's Parade. We will be setting up shop in the usual spot at the Grand Hotel Square. We will also live stream the parade. Details to come, so tune in. Please remember to send us your entry information. You can email it to newsdirector@tv2.vi. Inbox us on Facebook or drop it off on the day of the parade at the Grand Hotel Square. And just a little note, we just mentioned a change in our programming due to the Children's Parade Carnival coverage. On Friday, News 2 will be preempted. However, on Thursday evening, be sure to tune in to News 2 at 7 p.m. for the St. Thomas Carnival special as we look back at some of this year's events leading up to that grand finale. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.